cry herself to sleep, because the grace of God is something she can keep. Oh, it won't be long until their hold is broken. No, it won't be long until we found our home. It's for the good of you I sing sweet melody. They'll cast the first stone when the last one's out of reach. Oh, it won't be long until their hold is broken. No, it won't be long until we found our home. Forget where to begin. Mother, I have not sinned. I have not. But for the grace of God, she'd cry herself to sleep. But now the grace of God's the reason that my woman weeps. Oh, it won't be long until their hold is broken. No, it won't be long until we found our home. When summer comes, light my life, snow will melt away. When summer comes, light my life, snow will melt away. I was born again, I was born again. 92 the world they put me in. She was born again, she was born again. 92 the world they put her in. I was born again, I was born again. 92 the world they put me in. She was born again, she was born again. 92 the world they put her in. You take because your neighbor does not see. That would seem like lunacy to me. This is my head, you're in my world, and there's no one but you, girl. This is my head, you're in my world, and there's no one but you, girl. Tie your lover down while you are free. That would seem like pure hypocrisy. This is my head, you're in my world, and there's no one but you, girl. This is my head, you're in my world, and there's no one but you, girl. This is my head, you're in my world, and there's no one but you, girl. This
It's Morning Becomes Eclectic. I'm Nick Harcourt at 89.9 KCRW. It's been a couple of years since we've seen Starsailor, but we just listened to a live set. We've got another one coming up in a moment's time, but we're going to stop for a quick while and talk with James Walsh. How are you?
I'm very good, thanks.
Thanks for bringing the band in. We appreciate it.
No problem.
It's good to see you again. And I want to talk about the new album and obviously talk about what's been happening to you in the couple of years since we saw you. The new album's called Silence is Easy. Mm-hmm. And when we first saw you, it was on a record that you put out a couple of years ago, which was the first album from Starsailor called Love Is Here, right?
Yeah.
You guys got a lot of nice compliments on that record. You got a lot of, I guess you would call it acclaim. People, critics and fans alike really liked that record. Mm-hmm. How was that for you, going out and touring and coming to America and really sort of touring the world as a young band on that record?
It was just a complete whirlwind, just learning as we went along, really. We're kind of catapulted into the spotlight before we really knew what we were doing in some respects. It's quite just bizarre how much praise we got from that record, because it was a very organic thing. Like, we went in and recorded it in 8 weeks. We weren't prepared or anything, and just, I think it just fit the time in some strange way.
I read somewhere where you said the first record was really about a bunch of friends sitting down the pub. Yeah. And talking about their lives and putting it onto record, really. And then, as you said, all of a sudden you're out there and touring the world and getting a lot of acclaim. Did you enjoy it? Did you enjoy the traveling? I mean, was that something that you had wanted to do when you decided to be in a band?
It was very exciting at first, but also we weren't fully prepared for how hard it was going to be. You don't think about the sleepless nights and all the travelling and all the interviews, and you just think people's perception of being a musician is that they work for an hour
right
every night just while they're on stage, but there's more to it than that. And I think we're starting to enjoy that side of it now as well, and coming to terms with our roles.
I know a lot of times when we talk to bands from Britain in particular, who end up pretty relentlessly touring over in Europe and then coming to the States and spend the better part of a year on the road, that oftentimes by the time they get to the end of working that record, as they call it, they're pretty exhausted and drained and tired. Were you guys like that at the end of it?
Yeah, I think having a baby with my girlfriend Lisa, apart from being an incredibly inspiring thing in itself, it was a blessing in disguise for the band, because it gave us some enforced sort of time off.
I guess you had to stop, obviously, and be there as a dad for a while.
Yeah, so when we came back together, it's like that old saying that you don't know what you've got until it's gone, and we appreciated each other a lot more when we came back together to do rehearsals for the new album than maybe we would have if we just kept going on and on and on.
The second album is often described by a lot of musicians and bands as perhaps being more difficult than the first one. Usually by the time you make your first album, you've been writing songs for 5 or 10 years or something. Usually the second album, you've probably got a year's worth of material. Did you have material or songs that were left over that you perhaps hadn't recorded from the first time around? Or was this all new songs that were written specifically for the new album?
It was completely new. It was there's a couple of songs that came really soon after we'd finished Love Is Here, like Some of Us. Born Again came a while after that as well, but the rest of it was all written in the same sort of time frame. I think although we had a long time to write the songs for the first record, the 2 years between the two records more happened to the band and to me in particular than had happened to me in the last 20.
So there was more to write about?
Oh yeah, it was just a complete, all the gigs we've done, all the people we've met, having a baby, obviously, falling in love, finding a house, everything, all in a sort of 2-3 year time frame.
How did that change your writing? I mean, obviously, I'm hearing you reflecting on the fact that it changed you. You know, becoming a dad and getting into a steady relationship. I mean, these are things that people aspire to. To actually have that happen to you and then have it become a part of your creative process. I'm intrigued to know if you can describe how that might have impacted your songwriting.
It's just a great platform for my songwriting, really. It's good to have a solid sort of support network and to be able to enjoy life instead of worrying about the songs, instead of putting pressure on myself. It's like the worst thing you can do as a songwriter is to feel that your work is like a duty or a job or something. When I sit down and think I've got to write a great song, then it's inevitably rubbish. But if I'm sort of relaxed and I've had a good night with my girlfriend or spending time with my daughter, then I can go into this whole other place, really.
We talked with David Bowie a couple of days ago. We did an interview with David Bowie, and this is a guy who's written 26 albums at this point in his career, and whether or not we like all of the songs he does, he's really prolific. And one of the things that he told me was that as soon as he's finished one album, he's ready to go into the studio and do some more. He always goes out and tours, but he's one of those guys who is constantly thinking about songs. Are you like that? Are you? Does songwriting come easy, I guess, is what I'm saying.
I think songwriting comes easy. Good songwriting is the hard part.
That's a different thing, right?
I think the best way to do it is, like I say, just to do it a lot. Just to sit down with the guitar as much as possible. 'Cause it's kind of it's like anything. The more work you put into it, the better results you'll get. And it's like Guy Garvey from Elbow would always say that, don't worry if some of the songs aren't very good, because he feels that songwriting's like plumbing, where you have to get the poo and the rubbish out before you get to the good
the
stuff.
clean water comes
Yeah,
through.
exactly.
Okay, well, we got another set of music we're going to get to in a moment's time, but before we do that, I just want to talk a little bit about going into the studio. Obviously, you started off with Phil Spector. Mm-hmm. This was something that I know you guys were very excited about. All of a sudden, Phil's coming out of retirement to produce Starsailor. And you did a couple of songs with him, and then you guys ended up moving on and using other producers to finish the record. Tell us a little bit about, first of all, what it was like to go into the studio with him at the beginning, if you can, and then and the two songs that you did end up working on with him, and then why you shifted direction a little bit once you'd started.
It's an amazing honour that he thought of us to work with after years in the wilderness. It's kind of, and I think the enthusiasm and the excitement that he had for the song Silence is Easy particularly was what kind of made that magic. I think the first week we did with him was inspiring. I think that the reason why it didn't work out was just because, I don't know, I just feel like he's a kind of a one-trick pony, although that is one trick. When it works, creates
it's pretty
magic.
Good. Yeah. But did you feel like at some point then that you're like, okay, this is all going to sound the same unless we move on?
Yeah, well, his whole thing is taking like a really simple structure. Like with Silence is Easy, there's only 2 chords and a very simple melody. So when you layer it, when he creates his wall of sound, it just adds to it and adds this sort of, this huge epic sound to the record. But when we come to the studio with more complicated things, he's not that great at doing anything subtle or holding back kind of thing. And the other frustrating thing is that he's very hands-on with the musical side, and we're used to working with producers who know how the desk works and where to put the mics, where he didn't really do any of that.
So obviously, at some point, you, as I said, you realized that you needed to bring somebody else in to finish the record. You got 2 great songs out of it, by the way, didn't you?
Oh yeah,
out of that collaboration.
It was definitely worth it.
Yeah, and then who did you end up working with? You ended up working with your engineer and a couple of other people, right?
Yeah, we did a track with John Leckie as well,
Right.
which was good.
Famous for a lot of things, including the Stone Roses.
Hmm. He was great to work with because he let us have fun in the studio.
Right.
I remember recording one of the guitar parts on Shark Food, and just hammering at the guitar, playing, just making noise really. And he kind of sat in front of the computer for an hour and was able to make sense of it. It's good when you can let go like that and just put all your emotion into something, and let someone else make sense of it instead of working out at some intricate little guitar line that's you get red light fever, and it's all like too scientific.
What ultimately should a producer be able to bring to the work of Starsailor, or bring to the songs? It's intriguing, I think, when people talk about hiring a producer or picking a producer to work with, because a producer can bring an awful lot of direction and focus and ideas. But a producer can also try to overproduce and plug too much stuff into it and distort what you sort of set out to do. I mean, what ideally for you should a producer bring to the work?
I think the producer's role is to bring the get the best out of the band, and create this perfect sort of balance and atmosphere where there's a respect for the producer and you're able to perform in front of him, but also that there isn't any nerves, or you're not thinking it's got to be perfect. People like the relationship that Eno and Lanois had with U2, where they weren't only able to bring their style, they brought some things out of Larry Mullen's drumming and the Edge's guitar playing that they probably didn't know they could do because of their inspiration.
Well, the album is called Silence is Easy. It's the second full-length album from Starsailor. It's actually been out over in the UK for a while. It just got a domestic release here on Capitol. I know you guys are going to play another set of music for us, and it's always great to have you on KCRW and Morning Becomes Eclectic, so I'll throw it back to you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, James.
Bye.
All right. Here's Starsailor on Morning Becomes Eclectic.
Everybody says that they're looking for a shelter. Got a lot to give, but I don't know how to help her. I should just let it go till they all learn to grow and how to liberate want to run, I want to hide, I want to tear down these walls that hold me inside. I want to reach out and touch the flame where the streets have no name. Oh, I wanna feel some light on my face. I watch the dust clouds disappear without a trace. I wanna take shelter from the poison rain where the streets have no name. Oh, where the streets have no name, where the streets have no name. Still building then burning down love, burning down love. And when I go there, I go there with you. It's all I can do. Cities aflood, our love turns to rust, still beaten then blown by the wind, trembling dust. I'll show you a place high on a desert plain where the streets have no name. Oh, 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 where the streets have no name, where the streets have no name. Still building then burning down love, burning down love. And when I go there, I go there with you. So all I can do, my love turns to rust, still building then burning down love, burning down love. And when I go there, I go there with you. It's all I can do. From the moment the dawn breaks, panic, the headaches, the sick on the floor. On my television, they canvass opinion. Are we going to war? Well, I sing for you, darling. Hope that you're hearing, got you in mind. Well, cometh the hour, cometh the power, making you mine. I looked in your eye, fell from the sky. Line dries, panic is blue, so is the truth. Could you be mine tonight? other side. My love goes the long way around. Well, my love takes the long way around. I looked in your eye, fell from the sky. Line drive, panic is blue, so is the truth. Could you be mine tonight?